right, guys. I think we're going to do a few more problems here. I'm going to start by doing the odd numbers and ask you to do all the evens in this video. So before we go too far, if you need to grab your notebook and a pencil, go ahead and get those out. And let's start by reviewing the terms and how to find terms in this problem. All right, so let's start by remembering what a term is. And terms are those things, those pieces, and really they're the pieces of the equations, but they're the pieces, and these are separated by addition. Okay, separated by addition. Okay, so if I look at problems 1 and 3, I can see that the things separated by addition here are 6b. That's one term. 4, that's a constant term because it doesn't have a variable. And then 3c. So applying the same things, the things separated by addition here, I have 7.3w, and that's one term because the 7.3 is being multiplied by w, so I don't separate those. It's one term. I have 2.8v, and then again I have a constant of 1.4. Okay, so let's take a look here. And in 2 and 4, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It looks like I have 3 addition signs in each. So you should have 4 terms for each of those answers. So take a second and try and answer 2 and 4 in this Edpuzzle. Moving on to identifying terms in each of the expressions, when we have to rewrite the expression, this will give us a little practice in rewriting some things, okay? And maybe we're familiar with what's called the distributive property, where we have to distribute something to each place. Now this turns into 3 times. This is multiplication outside this parenthesis here, in between that 3 and parenthesis. So I'm distributing the 3, so it becomes 3a. We'll say it's equal to 3a. 3 plus 3 times 2 times b plus 5c. Now I have to simplify this, and this 3 times 2 times b is just 6b. Okay, so then my terms here would be 3a right here, 6b, and 5c. See if you can apply the same issue here or the same strategy to number 6. A little bit of a hint, this is a -2. So do watch your signs as you're doing number 6 here. Number 7 says identify the coefficients, not the terms now. So we're talking about the coefficients. And now the coefficients are the numbers in front of the variable. Okay, so we're multiplying our variables. They multiply the variable. So if I look at this first term here, this 2f, the coefficient is 2. It's 2 times f. Now I do want to rewrite this here because I see lots of subtraction. So it's important that I write it as 2f plus -6g. Remember, if I'm subtracting, it's the same as adding the opposite, plus 3h plus -5. Now I can see that this second coefficient is actually -6 times g and +3 times h. But do I have a variable with this -5? No, I do not. So I leave that one alone, and these are my coefficients. Let's take a look at number 9. I see I have a 4, a 2. Those are pretty easy. And you don't have to write it out if you already see that this can be a -7, but I'll rewrite it out. Plus 2n plus -7p plus 5q. Now I can see I have the 4, the 2, the -7. And in this case, I do have a variable with the 5, so I bring the 5 down as well. Okay. We'll tell you right now that it looks like you should have 3 coefficients in this first problem, and you should have 4 coefficients in this second one. Please take a minute and complete those in this Edpuzzle. Now, why are these things important? Well, they're important because they help us identify information, and sometimes the information is given to us in word problems. Okay? Let's say that I'm trying to write an expression so I can figure out how many points are being scored here. So let's take a look at number 11 and 13. The blue team scored 2 more than 5 times the number of points P scored by the red team. Okay, so maybe I can even write an equation for this one, it looks like. But how do I say 2 more? What does 2 more mean? Well, 2 more would be plus 2. I have 2 more. 5 times, that's pretty easy. That's 5 times, but 5 times what? The number of points. Well, what is the number of points? Well, P is the number of points. So 5 times P. So my expression here could simply be 5 times P plus 2. And if I wanted to write it as an equation, I could say that this is the points scored by the red team. So P is actually the points of red team. And if I write an expression, this is actually an expression that represents the points of the blue team. So maybe B for blue team. All right, let's look at 13, and then I'll give you a shot at 12 and 14. The green team scored 7 fewer points than P than the orange team. You should be able to handle that. Number 13 here says the red team scored 3 more points P than the brown team scored. Again, 3 more points P. This could just be P plus 3. Go ahead and take a look at 12 and 14. Good luck.